I just talked to Darius who holds the world record for vertical jump, about how he trains. There's a lot of training methods that he uses that I see almost no one in the gym using. In this video, we're going to cover 5 training techniques that he uses to maximize his vertical jump and explain exactly how he does it so that way you can use them to maximize your vertical jump. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Training technique number 1 is extensive plyometrics. Let me explain what this means. Plyometric exercises can broadly be classified into 2 different categories. One would be intensive plyometrics, and these are maximal jumps. So if you're jumping as high as you can, or if you're doing maximal bounds as high as you possibly can, that would be considered an intensive plyometric. By contrast, an extensive plyometric is what we call submaximal, meaning it's not as fast as you can possibly go, it's more preparatory. These are often more rhythmic, low intensity jumps and skips and hops. They can also be jumps that look kind of random, where you're just jumping up and down and moving in different directions. The whole point of these extensive plyometrics is to prepare your body to move in a bunch of different directions, as well as to prepare your tendons and your ligaments and your muscles to handle the demands of more intense maximal jumps. We can really only handle so many intensive maximal jumps per session without getting hurt. That's why it makes a lot of sense to supplement those intensive jumps with more extensive preparatory jumps. Extensive jumps can be done daily to prepare your Achilles tendon to stay healthy and be able to handle the more intensive maximal jumps that you're probably going to do maybe every other day. So if you're not doing any extensive plyometrics, consider adding 5 minutes per day of submaximal hops and skips and jumps. Training technique number 2 is overcoming isometrics. And this is a really beneficial technique that I don't see very many people using. This technique involves pushing into a fixed object. For example, if we're trying to maximize our jump height, we can push into a squat rack as hard as possible, where that squat rack, no matter how hard you push, will not move. This is training our muscles to ramp up to a truly maximal contraction for 2, 3, 4, or 5 seconds. This is a great way to train both our muscles and our tendons to be able to ramp up and produce a lot of force. This is also something that you'll see our NFL athletes doing at Optimized Physical Therapy and Performance here in Las Vegas for specific areas like the Achilles tendon, to really build strength and capacity of that tendon in the off season so that way it can handle the intense demands of NFL football training. So if you're not using overcoming isometrics, consider incorporating both a squat overcoming isometric or a mid-thigh pull isometric with a deadlift position, as well as one that's specific to the Achilles tendon, where you're trying to do a calf raise against weight that you can't move. A good target for this is working up to 5 sets of 5 seconds as hard as you can with enough rest in between sets. Training technique number 3 is quarter squats. And a lot of people don't do quarter squats because they're afraid that someone's going to think that they can't squat deep. But quarter squats can be extremely effective at making you faster and helping you jump higher. There's a lot of good research on the benefits of doing quarter squats, especially doing them explosively, moving as fast as possible. I've covered this in other videos, and this is also a training technique that I've seen used by Olympic sprinter Simon Hansen. When I talked to him about it on the Movement System podcast, he said that he uses quarter squats more than he uses full depth squats. He might do full depth squats a few months out of the year, maybe in the off season, but then for most of the year, he's prioritizing quarter squats or half squats and moving the bar very quickly. You can see Darius taking the same approach. Sometimes he'll squat a little bit lower, maybe down to 90 degrees, and then try to be explosive out of that position. And sometimes he'll just do a quarter squat where it's a little bit more shallow, but focused on fast movements. If you're not using quarter squats, consider using them to help all that strength that you develop with full range of motion squats actually transfer all the way to improving your vertical jump. All right, technique number 4 is practicing approaching the rim. Improving your ability to dunk is a skill. It's not just about improving your vertical jump, because if you just do bilateral training on 2 feet, like squats and jumps off of 2 feet, you might actually get better at jumping off of 2 feet in a straight up and down motion, but you might not get that much better at actually approaching the rim and getting your timing down to be able to dunk better. That's why it's important to do both. You want to do training in the gym that's on 2 feet that improves your vertical jump, but you also want to specifically practice your stepping to approach the rim. A great way to do this is practicing dunking a tennis ball first, then a volleyball, then a basketball, and then getting 2 hands above the rim and doing it progressively like that, where you're working on your approach. This is something that I'm working into my own training as well, and I'm also measuring progress with this over the 60 days of this current training block, so stay tuned for a future video about how that goes. Technique number 5 is unilateral strength training. This means getting strong on one leg. Whether you're jumping off of one leg or jumping off of 2 legs, you need to be able to produce force into the ground on one leg. Even with a 2-foot approach jump, you're really primarily pushing off of one leg, and then the other leg is just directing your force more vertically. So whether you want to improve your one leg approach to dunk or your 2-leg approach to jump, you really do need to get strong on one leg. Some of the exercises that Darius uses to maximize his vertical jump are things like Bulgarian split squats with a focus on moving the bar quickly, not so much worried about getting really deep or pausing at the bottom of the rep like you might see a bodybuilder do, but instead focusing on that top portion of the rep and being explosive with this exercise. Another single leg exercise that's really good to include in a vertical jump program is single leg calf raises. These can be done explosively, really fast, pushing into the ground to make sure that we're maximizing the transfer of that to your vertical jump and your approach jump. Another one is a hamstring curl where we're building eccentric strength here or controlling the lowering phase. What you'll see is that he's actually not doing a ton of reps, just 3 to 4 sets of 2 to 4 repetitions for this move. You may be used to doing hamstring curls for 3 sets of 10 or 4 sets of 12, more like a bodybuilder, but we don't want to be doing too much volume. We really want to be focused on power output and high force production for fewer repetitions if your goal is to jump higher. This will keep you fresh for jumping, and it'll also maximize the force production you can do with fewer reps. What you'll see in my vertical jump program, in his vertical jump program, and in any other good vertical jump program is that you're not just doing 3 sets of 10 of everything, but instead you're doing typically lower reps and more explosive. This is how we really maximize power output and jump performance. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people take a bodybuilding program where they're doing arms and chest and back and legs and then just add a plyometric day. That's really not how it works, and you're going to see minimal or no change to vertical jump. If you want to improve your vertical jump, you really need to be doing plyometrics at least 3 times a week. Keeping the strength repetitions lower and more explosive will also help you stay fresh. For example, if on Monday you did a strength workout and it was a bunch of hack squats for 4 sets of 10 and barbell back squats and leg extensions for 3 sets of 15 and a bunch of high volume strength on Monday, and your plyometric session is on Tuesday or Wednesday, you're not going to be jumping as high as you would expect because all of that strength training volume is going to be holding you back. If instead on Monday you did 2 to 3 sets of 3 to 4 reps of a few strength exercises that were really explosive but not really high volume, then that would actually set you up better for higher jump and more explosive plyometric training on Tuesday or Wednesday. I know I've made this mistake in the past and then wondered why my vertical jump's not improving, but if you're training like a bodybuilder, it's just not going to improve your vertical jump. I'll put a link in the description below to Darius's programs as well as the Movement System vertical jump program if you want to have something to follow that tells you exactly what you need to do when you go into the gym. I know that's really helpful for me personally and well worth the $20 to $40 a month to actually have your workout all set out for you. So that way you just go to the gym, open the app, and then you log your weights and you just do what's in the app for your training day, and you know exactly what to do every single session. This way you can also track progress from week to week and see that you're actually improving instead of just going to the gym and doing kind of random stuff and then hoping you get better. If you're not following a structured program, I would really consider investing in one to make sure that you're actually maximizing your progress and seeing improvement. If you guys do have any questions about vertical jump, feel free to drop them in the comments below and we'll be sure to get back to you. And then lastly, if you've found anything that's helped you improve your vertical jump, feel free to leave that in the comments to help other people as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.